Next up, John, we're going to talk about a topic that I don't really know a lot about. In fact, so I had our content assistant at GenFKD, Alana, write an article about it because I had to research it. So Jesse Grushack, I'm sorry if I messed up your last name, you'll correct me in a second. He's with Consensus, and he's here to talk about blockchain technology. Do you have any idea what that is, John?
Yeah, I have a little background in that.
Okay, so welcome, Jesse. In a hoodie, you're such a techie. So can you give us like the 101 course on blockchain technology?
So blockchain technology is the technology that kind of came to a head with Bitcoin. So digital currency is kind of where this technology came from.
So blockchain equals Bitcoin it's like saying a Netflix-like service, a Bitcoin-like monetary system.
It is where this technology kind of grew from. So we actually build on a platform called Ethereum, and so it basically is,
which is like Bitcoin.
It's like a similar system, right? So Bitcoin is a really good way to transfer value across the internet, right? It is totally digital. You can send it across the world in 10 minutes, and basically it's like digital cash, but you can't create two of them. So the blockchain kind of secures that system, makes that system completely unhackable and unbreakable, really. So it's this ledger that keeps Bitcoin safe, and we build on a platform called Ethereum. And now Ethereum kind of, instead of just doing value transfer, it does applications too. So now we're talking about basically rewriting the way the internet works. We're talking about kind of, I don't know if you guys watch Silicon Valley, and they're talking about this.
Big fan.
So this whole season kind of is really, it's based in what we're doing. It's based in the way the internet should work, right? And I mean, even the last couple of days with the huge hacks that are going on with the NSA stuff, right?
Which supposedly it's North Korea now.
You know, whoever they want to blame it on.
Actually, I saw the ransomware, and at the bottom when they flash the page, you know, when you're on your computer and and you press the wrong thing, and all of a sudden the ransomware pops up, it said we accept Bitcoin.
Yeah, they're taking their bribes in Bitcoin.
Well, it's
Blockchain.
a really good way to really secure to send money, right? So basically, you know, these guys
They
can't.
hacked it, but we want you to send us secure.
Well, we don't know where they're from, right? They're from North Korea, they're from wherever. So we don't necessarily know that where these people are from. They're not going to go pick up a big sack of money. So how do you send money across the internet?
Because if you wire cash, you can trace it,
Absolutely.
right? But you can't trace block.
You could trace Bitcoin, and the community is actually kind of coming together and saying, hey, wait a second, let's kind of stamp these Bitcoins and say these Bitcoins are the ones that are basically, you know, really doing damage to some people and some hospitals and some really bad things. So let's stamp these Bitcoins and let's try to track them through the system, and let's not let them be spent.
So it's almost like marked cash.
Yeah, pretty much.
So Ethereum, is it as volatile as Bitcoin in price? Because Bitcoin, the price goes up and down and all around, and someone who ordered a pizza 5 years ago would now have $17 million. Like, how can we trust this currency?
So the currency, you know, it's not necessarily about the currency, right? It's about the technology behind the currency, which is blockchain, and in this case, the Ethereum blockchain. So, you know, it's like if we wanted to run an application on the internet, right? We have to trust Facebook, we have to trust Google, we have to trust Microsoft, right? Any of these large companies that hold our data, that secure our information, we're trusting them with our lives, really, right? You know, your smartphone knows more about you than you probably do. And I mean, it's a scary thought.
That's too smart.
So what besides money can we send around? Information, applications, like what are we talking about?
Right, so we're talking about, so in applications, for example, I personally work on a project called Ujo Music, and that project...
I didn't know how to pronounce it. That's the only reason why I didn't mention it. So I already probably butchered your last name. I didn't want to butcher your company name as well.
It's okay. So we're talking about basically a new way to kind of deal with music, right? To deal with data, to deal with the payments behind data, to deal with securing that information and sending it around. So instant licensing, instant payments, having applications that run peer-to-peer, right? So you can connect directly with artists instead of having to go through all these giant labels, all these giant companies, right? So blockchains are really good at removing middlemen from systems. So it's really creating these peer-to-peer networks that is kind of where the internet was born, right? This information sharing that through people and through each other.
And it's a lot more secure than any conventional way.
I mean, it's right now with Bitcoin and with Ethereum, these are, if you were able to get into them, you would be able to get access to billions of dollars because they secure. I mean, the Bitcoin network's worth about $25 billion. The Ethereum network's worth about $8 billion. So, it's a great hacking problem, and if people have tried and constantly over and over again, and they can't break it. So these systems are incredibly secure because then the computers are distributed, right? So even if you take down one computer, there's 6, 8, 9,000 more running
But would
software.
the Pablo Escobar of today be using blockchain technology? Can't all of this be used for, doom and gloom and whatnot?
Can't cash, right? At the end of the day, there's always the opposite side of everything. But we like to look at, what the positive benefits, right? The positive benefits of peer-to-peer technology, the positive benefits of what we can really do to when we start, removing the middlemen and giving people back the power, giving people back information.
When do you think this will be able to scale to
It's
the
getting
average
there.
person?
It's definitely getting there. You can open an account in a few minutes and have Bitcoin on your phone and send that around. You can send that to someone in Australia, and you can do this rather quickly.
I can Venmo them too.
You can, absolutely. But then you're waiting 1 to 2 days for Venmo to go to your bank account, right? And all these different things. So imagine if you could literally just be handed cash. And this is what we're talking about with digital currencies. And that's just the very tip of the iceberg with what this stuff's capable of.
So can you tell me about the Ethereal Summit?
Yeah.
'Cause that's what you're here to talk about. Evidently I RSVP, but I don't know what I got myself into.
Absolutely. So, this Friday, we are bringing together about 500 really interesting people, over 60 speakers, and we're going to be talking about the impact that this technology is going to have. So, way past the money, way past any of the nefarious activities that people like to bring this up. We're going to be talking about really the impact that this is going to have on the world, and bringing together the smartest people so that they're aware of this technology and they can understand and utilize it and think about it, because we're trying to solve some really hard problems. And we need the smartest minds on that.
So where do the banks fit in?
The banks right now, they fit in.
Are they interested?
They're all working on this technology. They don't want to be left behind. So it's be disrupted or disrupt yourself, right? So a lot of them are working now with Ethereum. They're working together, which is weird, right? You have all these big banks kind of coming together and saying, hey, wait a second. If we start sharing information, if we start sharing data, we can make more secure systems. We can make bigger systems, better systems, and really give the value back to people.
Wow. So is there something about techies and hoodies? Can you tell us about that since we have a minute?
I mean,
to
it's
spare?
easy, right? I woke up, I'm like, all right, t-shirt, hoodie, jeans.
So
let's
can you
go.
tell us about the connection between hoodies and blockchain technology? Because evidently somehow your brain gets blockchain that you have to wear a hoodie.
It's comfy.
It's comfy. Tell us a little bit about Ujo Music. Did I pronounce
Ujo.
Ujo. See,
Yeah.
that's why I didn't say it.
So Ujo Music, basically our goal is to bring value back to artists, right? Create direct connections between fan and artists.
Using blockchain.
Using blockchain technology. And so basically, there's a lot of value that's extracted by the music industry, and we feel the artists deserve more. We feel the artists deserve to be paid more, and we want to try to make that happen. So we're trying to create a system where that can occur, where you can interact with your artists. You can be the first person to get access to tickets if you really are their biggest fan, and they would know that, right? We're trying to build systems that are fair and are where everyone can succeed, right? If you put as much value in, you can receive as
So
much
it sounds
value.
like it has a social responsibility element to it.
Absolutely. Blockchain technology reaches across pretty much every industry. Why are we donating money to charities and we have no idea where that goes, right? Why can't we follow that money to the person that we're actually helping?
Well, thank you, Jesse, for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
And out with the hoodies and in with the high heels we go.
Thanks, guys.